Hello and welcome. Good evening. You're watching the news today at 9. I'm Akshita. Nandagopal. Our big focus tonight is on the ugly Delhi political fight. As below the belt remarks and attacks are flying thick and fast between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. Our top story tonight is on the poll narrative in Delhi getting downright ugly, bitter and personal. You had BJP's motor-mouth Neta, Ramesh Biduri, who's squaring off against Atishi in Kalkaji constituency, facing flack for his remarks on Atishi, on her father. This also triggered an emotional outburst from the Delhi Chief Minister, who broke down and accused the BJP of targeting her ailing father. Clearly, unfortunately, in the last 48 hours, what we've seen is that sexist below-the-belt remarks are being made by our netas, highlighting once again a troubling trend in India's political discourse.
मारलीना ने बाप बदल दिया, पहले मारलीना थी, अब सिंह हो गई.
Motor-mouth BJP neta Ramesh Biduri is at it again.
अरे ये मारलीना, ये तो सिंह बन गई भैया, चेहरा ही नाम बदल दिया.
After sexist comment on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, BJP's Kalkaji candidate Ramesh Biduri targeted Delhi Chief Minister Atishi. Biduri said that Atishi changed her father and her last name from Marlena to Singh.
अरे ये मारलीना, ये तो सिंह बन गई भैया, चेहरा ही नाम बदल दिया. केजरीवाल ने बच्चों की कसम खाई थी, भ्रष्टाचारी कांग्रेस के साथ नहीं जाऊंगा. मारलीना ने बाप बदल दिया, पहले मारलीना थी, अब सिंह हो गई. ये इनका चरित्र है.
इतनी घटिया हरकत करेंगे.
Delhi Chief Minister Atishi broke into tears.
बुजुर्ग व्यक्ति को गालियां देने पे उतर आएंगे.
Emotional Atishi questioned Ramesh Biduri for abusing her old and ailing father.
ये तो सिंह बन गई भैया.
मेरे पिताजी जिंदगी भर शिक्षक रहे. आज वो 80 साल के हो गए हैं. वो इतने बीमार रहते हैं कि बिना सहारे के चल नहीं पाते हैं.
Ramesh Biduri's remarks drew massive flack from AAP and Congress netas.
आतिशी के पिताजी 80 साल की उम्र के हैं, वृद्धावस्था में हैं, बीमार हैं और ऐसी हालत में आप उनको गालियां दे रहे हैं. शर्म नहीं आती? मैं समझता हूं भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस देश की सबसे बड़ी गुंडों और गालीबाजों की पार्टी है.
आपको लगता है भाजपा के उम्मीदवार रमेश बिदुरी जी की जो भाषा के बाद आप उन्हें हाई और प्रोफाइल करते हैं, इतना लो वो चले गए हैं कि भाषा का संयम, अभी तो चुनाव शुरू भी नहीं हुआ है, अभी तो उनको उम्मीदवार बनाया ही है.
The BJP distanced itself from Biduri's personal attacks.
मैंने रमेश जी का पूरा बयान नहीं सुना है, लेकिन जो जानकारी मिली है, समाज में महिलाओं का अपना एक विशेष योगदान रहता है और किसी भी राजनीतिक क्षेत्र में या किसी भी सामाजिक क्षेत्र में काम करने वाली जो माताएं बहनें होती हैं, उनका सम्मान करना और ये हम सबका दायित्व बनता है.
Earlier, Ramesh Biduri had to express regret after facing massive criticism for sexist slur on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra.
सारी की सारी सड़कें प्रियंका गांधी के गाल जैसे जरूर बना देंगे. ये तो सिंह बन गई भैया.
Will Biduri's personal jibes hit BJP poll prospects in Delhi?
कसम खाई थी, भ्रष्टाचारी.
With Piyush Mishra and Rahul Gautam, Bureau Report, India Today.
पहले मारलीना थी, अब सिंह हो गई. ये इनका चरित्र है.
All right, let's get right into it. Here are the big questions we'll be asking over the next 30 minutes. Will BJP crack the whip on motor-mouth Biduri, a habitual offender? Is AAP on the back foot over the CM house splurge, which has become central to the BJP's poll campaign? Has it now become your corruption versus my corruption, your graft versus my graft? Has that become the core narrative of the Delhi poll dangle? Let's open this up. Joining me this tonight are All News Today's political analyst Ashutosh. We have from the Bharatiya Janata Party Shehzad Poonawala, from the Aam Aadmi Party Jasmine Shah. Also with us Rajat Sethi, political commentator, and Piyush Joshi, political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us. Shehzad, I'd like to begin with you on what really the BJP has to say about the comments made by Mr. Biduri. Will action be taken against him? Because we're talking about someone who's a habitual offender who's made these kind of comments repeatedly.
Thank you for having me, Akshita. Akshita, in public space, there can be no space for such kind of commentary about any woman or about the parents of any individual, whether that individual is the chief minister or not. But having said that, Mr. Ramesh Biduri has, and I'm glad that he has come out and he has expressed his regrets for the comments he's made. But here's something I want you to hear.
નીચ કિસ્મનો માણસ એનો ખર્ચો માંગો ને હીરાબા આવીને પાછા નાટકો કરે આપણને બોલતા શરમ આવે એટલી મોટી ઉંમરના વ્યક્તિ વિશે પણ એ
Because you might not be very adept in Gujarati, let me just tell you, this is Gopal Italia, who has been speaking about Prime Minister's late mother, and she's no longer there. And I have full sympathy with Atishi and her aging father, and I wish him good health.
No, Shehzad, but
why are not even around.
That's a condemnable comment
Mr. Gopal Italia
Two
said,
wrongs don't make a right,
Akshita,
Shehzad.
No, 1 second. Nobody said that. Akshita, nobody said that. I'm the national spokesperson of the BJP, and I hope you'll give me a patient hearing. Because you've asked me a question, please let me set my argument out, and then you can perhaps take that to Jasmine. On one hand, you have Ramesh Biduri expressing regret for his comments. On one hand, you have the national spokesperson of the BJP saying that absolutely no space can be given to such commentary. Now I would request Mr. Jasmine Shah, since I've provided the proof, because otherwise they will lie through the skin of their teeth. Mr. Gopal Italia abusing the mother of Prime Minister who's no longer around. Mr. Bibhav Kumar, who has been chastised by no less than the Supreme Court for beating up Swati Maliwal in the famed or ill-famed Sheesh Mahal in the presence of the Chief Minister. They have defended Mr. Bibhav Kumar. Dinesh Mohania has been arrested for sexual assault. He has been rewarded with a ticket. Somnath Bharti, his wife has complained that a dog was let loose on her by Mr. Somnath Bharti. He has been given a ticket. Naresh Balyan just recently in November said that gaalon ki tarah Hema Malini ke sadkon ko kar denge. He has been rewarded with a ticket. I only have one question. Let's settle this debate. The BJP has taken a position. Jasmine Shah, take a position on Bibhav Kumar. No whataboutery, no arguments. Take a position on Bibhav Kumar. Condemn him like I condemn the statements of Mr. Ramesh Biduri.
Okay, so the BJP is condemning it. Jasmine Shah, your opening comments. The BJP is saying we condemn what Biduri has said.
Who in BJP has said this? Let's understand the significance of what has happened here. Let me first underscore to your viewers. Mr. Ramesh Biduri has been
Akshita, let's get to the point.
Please,
no, one at a time. Shehzad, you had your say. Let Jasmine Shah speak.
Let us understand the significance of what Mr. Ramesh Biduri said.
No, but he can't get a free run. Let's have him.
Shehzad, I'll come back to you. Jasmine, go ahead.
Let's take a position on Bibhav Kumar.
This is the kind of uncivility that BJP spokespersons and their leaders espouse on national platforms as well as on TV. They will outshout over. Please do not speak in my turn. This is your problem. You do not hear. When your people are speaking ill about
No,
women,
one second, gentlemen. There cannot be a shouting match. Nobody can hear what, in fact, the message is from each of you. So, Jasmine Shah, please, this is your time. Shehzad, I'll come back to you.
I am saying that here's a serial offender, Mr. Ramesh Biduri. He was given Lok Sabha ticket twice. For the first time in Parliament, he called out a Muslim MP and called him a terrorist because of his religion. Despite that, he's given a ticket from a prime seat in Delhi. And not once, in 2 days, he has made horrible, filthy comments about women, about senior citizens. And all that BJP has is a Shehzad Poonawala on your show saying sorry. Has the Prime Minister of India said sorry? Has the national BJP president said sorry? Has some suspension happened of Ramesh Biduri? No. I'm sorry, this is very empty kind of an excuse of a person who's a serious offender.
Okay, I'll put that question to Shehzad, but why don't you answer what Shehzad also raised, Jasmine?
I will also answer. Yeah. I will answer. But I am saying there's another significance to what Mr. Ramesh Biduri has said. Where has he said this? He did not say this in his backyard. He said this on the same platform where the Prime Minister spoke just a couple of days back. So this is the kind of Gali Galoch party. This shows the values of BJP, that on a national platform where the Prime Minister says something, his leader after that comes and makes this kind of comment.
No, Jasmine, so then answer the question now. Yeah. Please.
I'll come to it. I am saying that there is no, I would say there is no kind of explaining any kind of comments of this nature, be it being made by Aam Aadmi Party, somebody in Aam Aadmi Party, or somebody in any other party. But, you know, like you can always say that, acha, kisi karyakarta ne, whose Gopal Italia is not a minister or a leader or an MP or an MLA. So, yes, he should be condemned. No person should be allowed to make these comments. But rewarding people who are making this content is what BJP has made a habit out of. And that is what needs to be called out in national media. Here's a person whose entire history has been making such comments on anyone and everyone. Women, minorities, senior citizens. What does BJP does? Rewards him, makes him speak the same comments on the stage.
Okay, I'm going to give Shehzad Poonawala a chance to respond before I open this up further. Shehzad, the question that the Aam Aadmi Party is asking is that, look, you've listed several leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party who've said this and that, but what about action against Bidhuri? What about setting a precedent?
Akshita, with utmost humility at my command, Mr. Bibhav Kumar was not accused of making a comment. He was accused of beating up Swati Maliwal, and the Supreme Court said that power has gone into your head. Swati Maliwal was crying. What is the action taken by Aam Aadmi Party? Jasmine is not even entitled to condemn Bibhav Kumar, the secretary of Arvind Kejriwal. Secondly, he spoke about some anti-Muslim comments. Ramesh Biduri did make a comment at another MP. Nobody condones that. In fact, Rajnath Singh had taken a position in parliament. But do you know Naresh Yadav was convicted of tearing the Quran, and he was rewarded a ticket by the Aam Aadmi Party? And it was not the Aam Aadmi Party that cut his ticket. In fact, he stepped aside. He did not get a ticket cut from Aam Aadmi Party. This is the track record. And therefore, I again ask, Somnath Bharti, Naresh Balyan, here is India Today's report that Naresh Balyan says Hema Malini ki gaalon ki tarah bana denge sadkon ko. What is the action they've taken? Here is Ramesh Biduri, who comes from a particular community, is being targeted. He has said sorry, but here you have Gopal Italia, who's abused the entire OBC caste of Prime Minister, calling him Neech and abusing his mother. And you don't have Jasmine saying, hey, Gopal Italia to normal chota mota leader. He was a state president. Now let me come to the real issue, Akshita. The real issue why this is being done is only because Aam Aadmi Party does not want to answer the question about Sheesh Mahal. The CAG report, which has come in the newspapers, and once upon a time they used to roam around with these CAG reports, has now put in the public domain how somebody who signed a 2013 affidavit saying Bada Ghar, Bada Gaadi, Bada Bangla nahi lenge, splurged 50 crore rupees on his bungalow and put flooring of 6 crore rupees, curtains of 1 crore rupees, tidy of 64 lakh rupees.
I will 100% come to what you're saying, but Shehzad, you haven't answered my question about how you'll set a precedent by acting against Bidhuri.
Yes. I think that all political parties, irrespective of one or the other, need to ensure that this kind of discourse does not take place. And when does that happen? That happens when you stop doing tutu meme and each one gets their own erring leaders to come and apologize. My leader, Ramesh Biduri, has apologized. Now I challenge Mr. Jasmine Shah. By the end of this show, Akshita, get Bibhav Kumar to apologize. Get Naresh Balyan to apologize. Get Somnath Bharti to apologize. If he does, I will do whatever he says. And if he doesn't, then you will see that class apart BJP stands from these parties, which only make an issue, but never actually get their leaders to say even sorry.
Okay, let me open this up further. I want to also bring in Ashutosh.
He can't speak on Bibhav
I will get back. Shehzad, I'll get back to Jasmine Shah in a bit. I will bring in Ashutosh now on this broadcast. Ashutosh, where you hear the kind of abuses, the narrative, and how really this election is going down the same old road that we know, unfortunately, of abuses. It's disappointing to see. And it's something that voters don't appreciate, and yet nothing changes really within political parties.
See, Akshita, I haven't heard that Ramesh Biduri has apologized for making comment on Atishi Marlena's father. He's regretted on Priyanka Gandhi's statement.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him making any kind of saying any kind of regret.
So there's been a statement from the BJP where they've condemned what he said and they've expressed regret. So it's been from the BJP, not from Mr. Biduri. You're right.
Even then her parents were targeted, and targeted by few BJP spokesperson on TV channels and otherwise also. None of them were taken to the task. None of them were even punished. No one was penalized. And this man is a serial offender. The kind of language he has used against Danish Ali on the floor of the House, has BJP taken any action against him? He was rather promoted. He was sent to Rajasthan and he was made an in charge of a particular area. So if and why I get very upset when the BJP people make a statement like this. For the simple reason, because the BJP talks about the Hindu Sanskriti, talks about the Param Vaibhav Sanskriti, talks about the great civilization Sanskriti, talks about what? Yatta narestu pujante ramante tatra devata. जहां स्त्रियों की पूजा होती है वहां देवता रहते हैं. ये बात बीजेपी आरएसएस के लोग कहते हैं. And this man who was trained in the BJP RSS Sakha, he comes out and make a statement like this, then it hurts most. Everybody, all of them present on this panel must have condemned statement made by Italia, must have condemned statement made by Lalu Prasad Yadav and Sharad. At least I had done that. And I had done openly done that in my TV discussion and also as a journalist, as a citizen. But why BJP is not setting a standard?
Yeah. No,
why this man is not expelled from the party? Why this man is not denied the ticket? This man has become a menace in himself.
Shehzad, your response.
I didn't want to bring this up, and you do have Ashutosh as a political analyst, and I hope he will take this in the right spirit. You remember there was once upon a time a minister in the AAP government, Sandeep Kumar, who was caught making ration card in a very compromising situation. Ashutosh was a spokesperson of AAP, and he came and defended Sandeep Kumar. And I can provide the statement to you. This man today presents himself as a political analyst. Now please listen, Mr. Ashutosh, you have to listen. Am I lying when I said that you had come and defended Sandeep Kumar? Did you or did you not? I will pull out the news report and I will expose you for what you are. You had not a word to say when Irfan Ansari called all kinds of things to a tribal woman, Sita Soren, and he's been made a minister. You had not a word to say when Irfan Ansari said, Sadko ko Kangana ki tarah bana denge, and he's been made a minister. You had not a word to offer when Randeep Surjewala said, ki Hema Malini ki tarah chaatenge kya Sansad? And you had not a word to say. I know every debate of yours, which you were on 5 o'clock Aaj Tak, 6 o'clock Aaj Tak, and 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on India Today. If you have said the statements, show me the statements, pull it out and put it out in the public domain. Not a word has been said by you. Every night you pretend to be a political analyst, but the only thing you are is a biased speaker.
Let's not be personal comments, Shehzad. Just hold on.
You defended Sandeep Kumar and his disgusting
No,
act of making
one second.
That's what you did.
Ashutosh, go ahead.
Can I intervene?
Did you or did you not defend Sandeep Kumar?
Who once called
did you or did you not defend Sandeep Kumar?
Now let me come to that.
Arey, forget Shehzad Poonawal. Take a stand. Take a stand, Ashutosh.
Let me speak. You have spoken enough.
You defended Sandeep Kumar.
Okay, all right. Fade us down, please. Fade us down. We will not allow this. We will not allow this where it's become essentially a shouting match between Ashutosh and Shehzad. I want to bring in also our other panelists. Piyush Joshi is with us. Rajat Sethi as well. Rajat Sethi, do you believe that the BJP today should be cracking down on this motor mouth Ramesh Biduri, who's made a series of such comments before? Yes, there may be, messages saying we condemn what's been said, but walk the talk.
Well, I think, the state of affairs in Delhi's politics have reached to absolute another point that there is no going below this. And this cuts across the political class. I mean, just look at the option as a Delhi voter. What are the options before me? Today, there is a face of a party who is being charge-sheeted. And I'm supposed to go out and, vote for his party because he will possibly be the next chief minister. Today, I have to go out and support and possibly vote for a leader like a Bidhuri. I mean, look at the array of options. And look at, even in Congress party, there are a bunch of abuses out there as well. What is needed is that all the parties will have to draw red lines when it comes to certain specific issues. It is probity in public space. There should be at least a red line that no charge-sheeted individual should contest. All the parties should actually withdraw their candidates who've been charge-sheeted. And of course, there should also be a red line that any kind of an attack on the women's modesty should be a red line, and no politician should be able to cross that Rubicon and not see repercussions coming.
What's very clear from what we saw in the last 15 minutes is that every party is guilty of going ahead and accommodating these leaders, saying they've apologized, let it go, let's move on. I want to bring back Jasmine Shah on this broadcast. Jasmine, before we lost you there briefly, Shehzad was in fact alleging that the Aam Aadmi Party is focusing on Bidhuri to bring away attention from the CM House Splurge, or Sheesh Mahal as the BJP calls it. What's your response to that?
See, this is the problem, and I've been hearing Shehzad throughout the show. Just he spent 30 seconds on saying, oh, I apologize. And then the kind of aggression and the kind of, absolutely no remorse as to what Biduri has said. This precisely shows that BJP is a party that actually encourages this behavior. And I also take, a difference with what Rajat Sethi said. No, not all political parties are going ahead and abusing women and senior citizens. Please do not make this as, "Arey, sab ek dal ke dhule hue hain." No, absolutely not. Let's call out a spade a spade. We should have that much of integrity to call out Mr. Biduri for being the worst politician today in India, and for Bharatiya Janata Party for being the worst party to constantly prop up leaders like this. Now, coming to, this entire idea of Sheesh Mahal, which Shehzad keeps on saying, he will not say for 1 minute, why is 2,700 crores being spent on the Prime Minister's residence? Why is 8,400 crores being spent on a Hawai Jahaj for a Prime Minister? So from a party which is spending, it's not 5 or 10 crores. They are spending thousands and thousands of crores for a luxurious living of the Prime Minister of India, comes out and calls Aam Aadmi Party on this. And why do they do this? Everybody knows. Because they want to run away from talking about work. See, the people of Delhi don't want this gali galoj. They want to know who is going to work for them. Law and order was under BJP for the last 10 years. Shehzad, I challenge him for 1 minute to tell the people of Delhi, what have you done on law and order? For 1 minute.
Shehzad.
Forget it, even 30 seconds. You will not be able to say that. Wo bhag jayega. He will never talk about why women's safety has not been addressed. For 10 years, the number of rapes.
Let's see, Jasmine. Let's give Shehzad a chance then to respond. Go ahead.
Akshita, point by point, I'll answer Jasmine. He asked me about PM residence. He asked me about the planes. He asked me about law and order. I'm going to answer all three questions. Akshita, just ensure that he doesn't interrupt me. First of all, PM residence, 2,000 plus crores being spent on it. Akshita, I urge you and all your viewers to go on a website called centralvista.gov.in. It has a section called Myths and Realities about Central Vista project. Point number 8 says there that there was a proposal to make a new house for the Vice President and Prime Minister, but none of it has been approved, and therefore there is no cost or money being allocated to it. This is how Aam Aadmi Party lies. I challenge Mr. Jasmine Shah, in his own time, not mine, I am answering right now, to provide me the document, just like the CHE report has been provided, where he can show that this money has been spent on the Prime Minister's residence. There is none. Point number 2, the planes. The 8,000 crore planes that are being said, the 2 planes, were approved during the UPA tenure, not during the NDA tenure. If I am lying, Akshita, fact check it right now on India Today. I will leave the debate apologizing. Let's go to point number 3, law and order. The law and order situation in Delhi is as such. When it was the UPA government, between 2004 to 14, the conviction rate in rapes came down from 40-45% to about 20-28%. And now, under Amit Shahji and the central government, the conviction rates have risen back to 37%. In fact, the central issue, this is a central government issue, we got 7 out of 7 seats in the Lok Sabha elections, indicating that the people believe us on law and order. Please, Akshita, in my time. Akshita, I have not interrupted. I am answering point by point without running away. As far as the work is, please let me complete. Now, Akshita, since I have answered all 3 questions precisely by Jasmine Shah, I asked Jasmine Shah to answer a few questions. 2013, did Arvind Kejriwal give an affidavit saying bada ghar, bada bangla nahi lenge? And the same Arvind Kejriwal today not only spends obscene amount of money in the renovation of a Sheesh Mahal while people of Delhi were suffering under COVID, he puts a mini bar there. He uses it to splurge on a carpet of silk. He uses it to splurge on Toto toilets, which cost more than my entire education. He buys a TV console of 20 lakhs and TV sets of 64 lakhs. Gym equipment was 20 lakhs. This kind of obscene spending, and that in violation of the procedure, without tendering, is most obscene. I am only asking, this is not renovation of a house, it's a renovation of a mindset. From Swaraj to Sharab, from Anna to Lalu, from Jhadu to Daru, and finally, Ashutosh ji. He wrote a blog defending Sandeep Kumar in NDTV, for which he was summoned by the NCW, and AAP leaders also took objection to it. He compared Sandeep Kumar to Mahatma Gandhi.
Point by point.
This man, Ashutosh, has no locus standi to talk. This man, Ashutosh, has no locus standi to talk. He defended Sandeep Kumar and compared him to Mahatma Gandhi.
Shehzad, I gave you a fair chance to respond to Jasmine Shah.
Did he or did he not?
Response.
Did he or did he not?
Your response. Shehzad, hold on, please. Jasmine Shah, your response to the BJP asking, what's your source? What's your source when you say that Prime Minister Modi has spent 2,700 crores on his residence?
It is, Arpita. Now, I do not know where Shehzad brings data and information which only he has. That is his problem. Anybody, I ask all your viewers to Google Prime Minister's residence cost of renovation. And mind you, Prime Ministers of India have lived in residences before this. It's not that पहली बार कोई Prime Minister of India का residence बना है. Still is spending more than 2,000 crores on it. So that is reality. Second, let me call out another huge lie that Shehzad said on the show today.
Which renovation are you referring to? Are you referring to Central Vista, Jasmine?
No, Central Vista is a separate project. Prime Minister's residence is completely being renovated at a cost of over 2,000 crores. It's out there. Let me make the second point, which is on the crime. He completely lied when he says that the conviction rates in Delhi are going up. Mind you, first of all, there is NCRB data. Please do not interrupt me. Shehzad, please do not interrupt me. I am going to speak in my turn.
I'll give you a chance to respond. I'll give you a chance to respond. But Jasmine, you need to answer on the point about where you got the data from about the Prime Minister's house renovation.
Please Google. I request your viewers, next time I'll come with data also on sheets, but you can Google. Now, number one.
I'm searching it right now. It doesn't turn up.
2012, the number of rapes that were happening in Delhi. Why 2012? Because the Nirbhaya incident happened there, the horrific incident. Today, the number of rape incidents have doubled.
No, but Jasmine, you're not answering my question. We'll come to what you're saying. We'll come to what you're saying about law and order. And I promise I'll give you time to talk about that. But answer my question, please. As I search right now, I'm not getting this figure. So tell me where this data has come from that the Aam Aadmi Party is referring to.
No, it is there. It is all out there in the public domain. If you cannot find it in 30 seconds, it's not my fault. I will come back to you with the data next time as well. Okay?
You told me I can Google it, I'll find it. I've Googled it and it hasn't turned up. So you need to tell me where you got this data from, Jasmine.
It is all there in the public domain. But please call out his lie. The conviction rate for rapes in Delhi is a mere 2%. Not 37%. It is shocking. It is shameful. Shehzad should answer the women of Delhi. Why do you lie? First of all, you fail in providing law and order. Second, you go ahead and lie that the conviction rate for rapists is not 3%, it's 37%.
Let me bring in Piyush Joshi right now. Jasmine Shah, you haven't answered my question. You haven't answered my question. I told you we'll go to law and order in just a bit. Before I come across to you, Shehzad, let me bring in Piyush Joshi also on this broadcast. Mr. Piyush Joshi, at this point, it's become almost your corruption versus my corruption. Personal corruption of one leader, allegedly, versus personal corruption of another leader, allegedly. But will this kind of a narrative actually work?
Well, certainly it won't work. And let me give you reasons why it won't. Because ultimately it is the people of Delhi who are going to decide whether Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has delivered on the ground in last 10 years of his governance or not. Whether he has been successful in providing school infrastructure, whether he has been successful in providing mohalla clinic services, whether he has been successful in healing the illnesses of the people of Delhi. And that is what they are going to adjudicate about. The problem happens, why we see these kind of abusive remarks. These kind of abusive remarks are made by people without vision because they don't have any vision for the development of their own constituency. They don't have any vision for development of the state as such. They don't have a development of vision for the country. So they get involved in rhetorics. They get involved in all kinds of abusive furlough. And then that's what they unfurl on the people of Delhi. And, it's kind of a gimmick as well because nobody is giving any footage to Mr. Bidhuri otherwise. So unless and until he abuses a leader of stature, let it be Danish Ali in the parliament, let it be Priyanka Gandhi, let it be Atishi.
No, but about this entire house splurge versus, one renovation, one leader's renovation versus another leader's renovation.
Excellent point. I participated in lots of debate with Shehzad only on this particular issue. He started were saying that in excess of 100 crore rupees have been spent on the Shishmal. Then somewhat, let's say 1 week passes and the BJP spokesperson come down to 64 crores. Now the CAG has come up with 33 crores. So we are seeing the same pattern that we saw in the liquor policy alleged scam. You can't determine the corpus. You cannot establish a money trail. You cannot establish the floor, where the money trail ends, and you cannot establish once and for all concrete proof of corruption against the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, and that's why all this happens. Why my corruption versus your corruption won't work, because here you have people who have been accused, in a vicious way by the central government, and they have been put behind bars under the auspices of a draconian law, and that's what happens. And on another side, you have Ajit Dada Pamar, you have
Okay. Shehzad, I'll come to you. One quick word also from Ashutosh, away from really the ugliness between Ashutosh and Shehzad. Ashutosh, I want to just focus right now on this entire controversy around the CM House pledge. Why do you think the BJP is focusing on this particular issue, making it the core of really their campaign right now?
Akshita, I'm not interested in being on your show, and you are not doing any favor to me. You allowed Sajad Poonawala to rant, to accuse me,
Ashutosh,
to make a personal comment on me.
I did not. You perhaps couldn't hear my audio, but I did not allow him to, and his fader has been down. I don't know if you can hear it. Ashutosh, if you're willing to comment.
You allowed him.
Ashutosh,
you did not let me speak.
No, I did not let him speak. I did not let him speak anything about you. Ashutosh, come on, I'm not here to be, bullied or defending one person versus the other. Ashutosh, do you want to speak on the issue at hand?
BJP spokesperson to pass a personal comment on me.
I did not allow it. You can watch the debate. You can watch the debate later. But let's move on. Ashutosh, we will not waste the viewers' time on this. Would you like to comment on the current issue now? Would you like to comment on the CM House pledge controversy?
I'm not interested in being on your show at all. You allowed Sajad Poonawala to pass a comment on me. You did not allow me to speak.
Ashutosh, I am giving you a chance to speak right now.
I'm not interested.
I am giving you a chance to speak right now. Please go ahead.
Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? I'm not interested. You allowed, when I wanted to intervene, you allowed him to...
you are going to be... Mr. Ashutosh, okay, Mr. Ashutosh, you are going to watch the debate on Rewind and then realize that I didn't allow that comment to happen. But let's move on. Since you don't want to comment on this entire controversy, I'll take this to Rajat Sethi as well. Rajat Sethi, do you see this issue essentially echoing in the narrative? How does it help the BJP to focus on the CM House pledge?
See, the real issue is that BJP is trying to attack the credibility of this individual, who is Arvind Kejriwal. Everything that he stands for, he has actually taken a U-turn on that issue. And this cuts across several issues. It's not just the Sheesh Mahal, it's all the drama and antiques that he brings to the table. Instead of properly bringing governance to the table, this is the contrast, I suppose, that BJP would want to play upon. On one side, you have these technocratic challenges that the Delhi as a metropolitan is facing. You do not have clean air. You do not have clean water. You have garbage in Ghazipur, piles and piles loading up. And all of these problems were being made election issue by Arvind Kejriwal himself, that give me one more chance and I'll do this. When he's saying this in his political narrative and political, pitch, on top of that, he immediately comes into power, and the first thing that he does is to, bring out a tender to actually install all these fancy items. It just does not behave well. This clearly means that there is some gap in his intent and some gap what he truly, his values that he actually in reality espouses. This gap is a yawning gap. I think the Delhi's public will be, this has to be demonstrated to them that whatever this man is saying, he does not genuinely believe in any of that.
Jasmine,
and he
is this a
concern for
the Aam Aadmi Party going forward in their campaign, that the very image of Arvind Kejriwal is an attempt at least to erode the image of Arvind Kejriwal?
Well, it's not a fresh attempt, Arpita. If you look at BJP's history for the last 10 years, the only way they try and attack Aam Aadmi Party is not by pointing out कि हमने आपसे बेहतर काम कर लिया. We are delivering on schools, education, health, water, electricity in our states better than you. We will go after you. We will go after your families. We'll go after your parents. This is the history of BJP. Now, I believe one huge issue that needs to be spoken about is a khule-aam electoral fraud that is happening in Delhi. Today, we did an expose of this. the Chief Minister Atishi wrote to the Chief Election Commissioner how BJP is systematically deleting more than 15% votes in the assembly of Arvind Kejriwal. You know, their entire idea is to keep the national media busy. I mean, for how many years are we talking about the so-called Sheesh Mahal? For the last 2 years. Why? Because BJP doesn't want to talk about the real issue.
Okay,
आप ये चीज discuss करते रहो, but they are going to cut votes and try and steal an election. And that needs to be called out.
Shehzad and Jasmine. Jasmine, to you first. Will we see a focus from the main political parties in Delhi on issues like pollution, on issues like cleaning the Yamuna? Will that ever become the central focus of any of the campaigns? Because that's what voters want addressed. Jasmine, you first and then Shehzad.
Aam Aadmi Party is the only party that talks about work. It talks about vision. We will talk about what we have done so far in the case of pollution, what our plans are. And for Yamuna, we already have Arvind Kejriwal ji has spoken about in Agenda Aaj Tak what his plan is for Yamuna. Have you ever heard Shehzad or his people in his party talk about ab Yamuna ko kaise saaf karenge? Aapka plan kya hai? Aapka blueprint kya hai? Pollution ke liye 42 out of 50 cities are in India, in the world are the most are in India, the most polluted cities. Does Shehzad have a plan for national air pollution? They never talk about issues. Inko idhar udhar ki hi baatein karni hai. And that is the difference between BJP and Aam Aadmi Party.
Shehzad, your closing comment. Instead of abuses by Mr. Biduri and him getting a platform to say these comments, no action being taken against him, why aren't BJP candidates focusing on the issues on ground? Why aren't they talking about pollution? Why aren't they talking about bettering civic infrastructure of Delhi?
It's because, you know, platforms like yours don't allow us to complete. And I hope you'll allow me to complete. Did Mr. Arvind Kejriwal not say in 2015 that Punjab's Parali was the problem and the only problem, and he had a biodecomposer as a solution? And when now he has Punjab government, has the pollution stopped? He said Yamuna ko 5 saal mein saaf karunga in 2015, then 2020, now 2025. He says main nahi kar paya, it's not an issue on which you get votes.
What will you do?
Point this out, why aren't you taking us statements? Why aren't you allowing us to communicate? Now see who's interrupting? Akshita, and you're allowing him to interrupt.
Go ahead.
He spoke twice, back to back. This is what your platform is doing. Let me speak then. I have only spoken facts. And I hope Akshita and India Today will give me an opportunity to complete my statement.
Go ahead.
Akshita, please ask Mr. Jasmine Shah that Punjab Parali was cited as the only reason for pollution in Delhi. Mr. Kejriwal said this in 2019-20. Today he has Punjab. What has he done? Please, let me complete, ma'am.
Thank you, all you gentlemen, for joining us on this broadcast. We've got big breaking news coming in. As Justin Trudeau's just stepped down, let's cut across to that news break coming in. Justin Trudeau has resigned as the Liberal Party leader. Essentially, that means that he's stepped down as Prime Minister of Canada. Long time coming. There was endless buzz that this would be happening in a matter of 24 hours or so. In a scheduled address, he's announced the same. Let's cut across live.
Le Parlement est paralysé depuis des mois, après ce qui a été la plus longue session de Parlement minoritaire dans l'histoire de notre pays. C'est pourquoi ce matin, j'ai rencontré la gouverneure générale pour lui faire savoir que nous avions besoin d'une nouvelle session du Parlement. Elle a accédé à ma demande et la Chambre sera donc prorogée jusqu'au 24 mars. Pendant le temps des fêtes, j'ai également eu l'occasion de réfléchir et d'avoir de longues conversations avec ma famille quant à notre avenir.
Okay, so Trudeau currently addressing the media there. He's speaking in French, so I'll just put out some of the bits of what Trudeau's saying, the important highlights really, where he's officially stepped down, resigned as party leader. Effectively, that means that he's also stepping down as Prime Minister. Now, what's also important is that Trudeau's made it clear that he's not going to also consider taking over as the party leader of the Liberals going forward ahead of an election. There's no question of that. So with him stepping aside now, the Liberal Party will have to look for a new face, for a new candidate. Remember, elections in Canada were scheduled to happen in just about 10 months from now, in October. But obviously now, with this particular move by Justin Trudeau, elections will be held much before that in Canada. Trudeau sending out a message that he's a fighter, This at a time when, remember, he's been pushed up against a wall, forced to go ahead and step down with no other option because of dwindling support within his party, calls for his resignation. There's been widespread anger in Canada over issues of high levels of unemployment, over inflation, over the immigration policy of Trudeau. And in the weeks leading up to this particular development, you've had even his Deputy Prime Minister stepping down. Listen in to Trudeau.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Okay, so that's Trudeau confirming that while he steps down right now as Liberal Party leader and therefore as Prime Minister of Canada, he also says very importantly that I cannot be the best option for the next election. So you've got him conceding that he's clearly not been the best leader for Canada, or for that matter, the best representative of the Liberal Party. There will be a lot of questions, of course, about how this pans out for Canada. There's been attempts by Trudeau, mind you, amid a lot of anger that he's faced from the public. He's seen this coming, especially because his popularity vote has been dipping, and he's attempted damage control in the last many months, including bringing in a new immigration law that was focused on tighter rules. None of that has essentially helped. You saw, in fact, his transport minister stepping down. You had several other ministers, including the Deputy Prime Minister, stepping down from his cabinet. And that was a clear indication that the clock was ticking for Justin Trudeau to also resign as the Liberal Party leader and therefore as the Canadian Prime Minister. Now, it of course leaves a big question mark over what happens next in Canada politics. But remember that Trudeau's time as Prime Minister for the last many years has been a turbulent one, in the sense that he's been plagued by controversies. Plagued by controversies coupled with the fact that several of his decisions for the people of Canada hasn't been well received. It's led, of course, to a backlash and a whole lot of anger from Canadians who have, in fact, been calling for Justin Trudeau to step down. It's triggered mass protests as well in several parts of Canada in the last few months. So, like I said, the writing's been on the wall for Justin Trudeau.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralysed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th.
Okay, so that is the message from Justin Trudeau, essentially at this point saying, yes, I stepped down as leader of the Liberal Party, but also maintaining that he will remain in power, in the position, till an alternative is found. Shashank Mattu is joining us with more details on this big development. Shashank, it was expected, the writing was on the wall that Justin Trudeau would have to step down, not just because, of course, of anger within the country against Trudeau, of clearly a rising sentiment against him, but also of anger within the party against him.
No, absolutely right. I think the party had clued into the fact that there was no way that they were going to win the upcoming Canadian general election with Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister. Vast majorities of Canadians at all the polls bear this out, have wanted Justin Trudeau to step down, and have also said that they would be willing to give the Liberal Party, which is Justin Trudeau's party, another shot at forming a government if Trudeau were to step down. So everyone has seen those polling numbers, and over the holidays, over the Christmas holiday as well as New Year, a majority of Liberal MPs, first it was just a couple dozen members of Parliament saying that they wanted Trudeau to step down, but over the holidays, you had a number of caucuses from the Liberal Party come out and say that we want Justin Trudeau to step down, and after that his hand was essentially forced. The public was against him, his own party was against him, and there was nothing to be done at that point in time. His closest political allies had resigned, including Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, who will probably now be the frontrunner to replace him as Prime Minister. But really the writing was on the wall to end his almost decade-long run in power as Canadian Prime Minister.
Okay, we'll track what happens closely next in Canada. Thanks very much, Shashank, for joining us with those details. There's been another Naxal attack in Chhattisgarh, a security vehicle being blown up by an IED planted by Naxals in hotbed Bastar. 8 Jawans were among those killed in this attack. And remember, this came at a time when Home Minister Amit Shah has vowed to eradicate Naxals by 2026. But this attack once again highlighting that the Red Terror war is far from over.
In Chhattisgarh's Naxal hotbed Bastar, a security vehicle fell prey to an improvised explosive device, carrying 8 Jawans of the District Reserve Guards. The personnel were on their way back from an anti-Naxal operation in the dense forest. The IED explosion killed all 9 occupants, including a civilian driver of this police vehicle.
अभी आसपास इलाके में रीइंफोर्समेंट टीम द्वारा सहायता के लिए पहुंच गई थी. अभी सर्चिंग जारी है. सर्चिंग उपरांत और डिटेल से जानकारी प्राप्त हो सकता है.
This is the biggest strike on security personnel by Naxalites in a span of 2 years.
नक्सली मन के ये कायराना हरकत के मैं निंदा करत हूं, लेकिन हमारे जवान मन के शहादत ये बेकार नहीं जाए. निश्चित रूप से नक्सलवाद के खात्मा हो ही और हमारे छत्तीसगढ़ में शांति के बहाली हो ही.
Home Minister Amit Shah condemned this attack and reiterated his vow to make India Naxal free by March 2026.
31 मार्च 2026 के पहले हम भारत को नक्सलवाद से मुक्त करा देंगे, ये मेरा विश्वास है. छत्तीसगढ़ के 2 जिले बाकी है, वहां पर भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार आई है. एक ही साल में 900 से ज्यादा लोग अरेस्ट हुए हैं, 600 से ज्यादा लोग सरेंडर किए हैं और लगभग 300 के करीब लोग मुठभेड़ों में मारे गए हैं. तो 70% नक्सल की स्ट्रेंथ ये एक साल के अंदर, कल ही 1 साल समाप्त हुआ है हमारे से, 1 साल के अंदर हम समाप्त कर दिए.
But for now, India's war against Red Terror is far from over. The Sumi Rajappan Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's get to our Get Real India story of the week. Horrific revelations that have emerged in the brutal murder of a journalist in Chhattisgarh, Mukesh Chandrakar, who was killed in the most brutal manner merely for doing his job. His lungs were pierced, his heart was ripped out. The murder details absolutely chilling. And the mastermind of this murder was a contractor who's finally been nabbed. But who will protect our journalists from such crimes? He was reporting the truth and therefore was targeted by the contract mafia.
गिरफ्तारी पहले ही की जा चुकी है, जिसमें रितेश चंद्राकर, दिनेश चंद्राकर एवं महेंद्र रामटेके शामिल हैं.
The Chhattisgarh government is facing flack for failing to protect the journalist who exposed corruption in a road project.
पत्रकार मुकेश चंद्राकर की हत्या का आरोपी है सुरेश चंद्राकर. हमें ऐसी सूचना मिली कि 10 दिन पहले वो मुख्यमंत्री निवास भी गया था. तो हम मांग करते हैं मुख्यमंत्री निवास में जाने वाले आगंतुकों की सूची की लिस्ट बनती है. 15 दिन की मुख्यमंत्री निवास की CCTV फुटेज और आगंतुकों की सूची सार्वजनिक किया जाए.
but the state government has assured protection and strict action against the accused.
निश्चित रूप से पत्रकारों के साथ हमारी सरकार है। पत्रकार सुरक्षा कानून भी लाएंगे, लेकिन जिस त्वरित गति से सरकार कार्यवाही की है उससे पूरा प्रदेश ही नहीं देश परिचित है। उसमें एसआईटी का गठन किए हैं।
Remember, Mukesh Chandrakar was missing for 2 days when his body was found in a septic tank at a property owned by the contractor Suresh Chandrakar. Bureau Report, India Today.
Unfortunately, Mukesh Chandrakar is only the latest journalist to be let down by society, let down by the system for exposing the truth. I'll leave you with that thought. It's a wrap on this edition of the News Today. Thanks very much for tuning in.